Tell me when we're, are we live?
We're ready.
Okay, hello everyone. Hi. There's already quite a few of you joined us, and I'm really happy to have you here. And welcome to my Make a Living on Your Own Terms webinar, in which we're going to talk about your path to success and what you've actually got to do to get on it. So, this is a kind of passion project for me, because I've actually reinvented myself 5 times in my career. And I've been where you are. So I absolutely know what it feels like not to know quite what to do, how to start a business, knowing that you should be out there and you should be working yourself, or for yourself, but not knowing quite where to start. And in my case, I had three young children that I had to support. So it was absolutely crucial that I got out there and made a living. And I didn't have any educational resources. I won't go into my story in great detail. I'm sure you've all heard it a million times if you've been following me. But the first thing that I actually did was to write a list of my strengths and weaknesses. And at the time I had 2 key strengths, and one was knitting and one was writing funny letters. And I built my career on those two premises. Now, I'm freezing here. Why am I freezing? It's because I'm not used to this format on this screen. So I'm looking at a little picture of me. So in this webinar, I want to give you an idea around the questions that you have to ask yourself to actually decide what road you should be on. And I'm going to tell you later down the road about the program that I've set up to support you. That will be at the end. And please stay with me, because there will be a bonus offer for you, especially for people on this webinar and for people who've been following me in my Facebook group. During this webinar, I want you to get to grips with the things that really, really trouble you. So where would you find your perfect business idea? What steps have you got to take to make it happen for you? Are you really worth investing in? These are all things that you really, really need to understand for yourself. I've got my PowerPoint presentation on my other computer. We're a complete shambles this morning because I've not used Zoom before. So let's start with who you are, because the first question that you really need to ask yourself is who you are and what you want for yourself. And who you are can best be summed up by what your passions are, what really lights you up, what makes you want to get up in the morning, what your resources are. So what are your resources regarding your time? How much time do you have that you can put into a new project if you're in a full-time job, or maybe you've got kids? And also who you know, because the easiest way to start a business is to actually leverage on who you know, who your contacts are, and where you can sell it, because business is ultimately about selling. And you can actually sell anything. So any skill that you have, any talent that you have, any personal strength that you have, can all today be put into a package, and which will create you a product, and then it can be sold. Now, I'm very aware that not everybody wants to spend their life slammed behind a computer. But this concept of packaging a skill is something that you can do and put out there in the real world as well. So the first question to ask yourself really is what do people come to you for? What do they see in you that you maybe don't see in yourself? And the way to find out is actually to ask them. So if you've got a job, for example, I bet that there are particular skills that you have that people immediately think of you. They think of you as the expert in that skill. And it could be a very small skill. It could be that you're great. They might invite you to meetings because you're great at bringing people to the heart of the matter. That is a skill that you can actually package and sell. It might be friends that come to you for advice on specific things. And if you look at the reality programs on television today, you will see that virtually any skill that you've got can be packaged and can be sold. So we have ladies teaching us how to clean our houses on television. We've got people actually teaching us how to clear out junk. There are a million things that you do instinctively every day that you do not realize can be monetized. It might be that you're a great host. It might be that you run great dinner parties. It could be that you have local knowledge and that you can paint a beautiful picture around an experience or a place or a situation. These are all things that in my program we will look at very closely, and we'll look at you individually and very closely and decide what combination of things really, really would work for you and can be turned into a scalable business. And I will show you the steps to do that. So that's the first thing to consider. Who are you? The second thing to consider is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Do you like working with people on a one-to-one basis? Are you happier in groups of people? Are you good at writing? Are you good at illustrating? You look at the most natural way for you to communicate and put that into the mix when you're coming up with your business idea, because there is absolutely no point putting yourself in a situation that doesn't go with your flow or that you're going to feel terrified of doing. Once you've decided on these things, the actual marketing of your idea is really just mechanics. There are systems, there are a million systems for getting an idea out there. And we will go into those, and I will give you blueprints for those. Obviously, I can't cover everything today. I just want to touch on the things that you need to be looking at to get you onto your road of success. So how good are your internet skills? That's a key question, because obviously if you can work online, you can create a business that will provide you with total freedom. You can do it from anywhere. You can record it, you can package it, you can do what I'm doing now to some extent. There are just a million opportunities for you. But if you've got to learn all the pieces involved with the internet, then it might not be the way that you want to go. It may not be something that you want to do anyway. Then you've got to think about whether you should be offering a service or a product. And again, a service would give you ultimate freedom, but a product is more restricting. If you're going to produce a product, I would really, and by a product, I mean a hard piece of material rather than an online program, which is also known as a product. You have to, most importantly, look closely at who you know, how you're going to reach the people that you want to reach. And also your best chance of success today, and I'll explain why later, is to keep that product very, very narrow, or keep your product range very, very narrow. So once again, you are known to have the very best of one particular thing. And this again is something that we would look at very, very closely. So where do you find your perfect business idea? And your perfect business idea, it falls at the joining point of your motivations. What do you want out of this business? And we would need to get you very clear on what you actually want to achieve from your business. Is this something that's going to replace your day job? Is this something that you just want to do because you love doing it, maybe monetize a hobby? Is this something that needs to replace your full-time income and support your family? So we need to look, and do you want to do it for a short time? Do you want to do it for a long time? Do you want to scale it out so that you can employ other people to do the work for you? These are all things that you need to consider. Then the second key is your passion and what you feel totally comfortable doing and what you really want to do and what lights you up in the morning when you get out of bed. So we've got your motivation and your passion. And then we need to look at your existing skills, or you need to look at your existing skills and determine who you are the go-to person for. And what you do now, yourself, in your job or in your life, that you are expert in. And I guarantee you, there are plenty of things that you do that you are not recognizing. Then we need to look at your contacts. And then we need to look at your lifestyle. How many hours a day do you want to work on this? Are you fully committed to it? Is this replacing a full-time job again? Is this something that you only want to do evenings and weekends? These are all decisions that you should make before you decide on your journey or what your business should be. And finally, we need to look at your resources, your financial resources, your physical resources. You know, if you have a job, if your idea involves having a premises, do you have access to somewhere you can use? And your ideal business lies at the joining point of those 6 topics. Okay? Okay. So why is right now the best time for you to start a business? There are 3.2 billion people online. 3.2 billion people. That is half the world's population. Or actually, there are 3.2 billion people who will be online by the end of 2018. And this not only completely blows out of the water all the old ideas we had about having shops, being in retail, having to find a way of reaching people, and having to be as general as possible so that we could serve as many people as possible. That's all blown out the window. So the new model for marketing really is to turn that on its head and to be offering something that is extremely special to a tiny percentage of those people, and to get your message out there so it reaches the people that you need to reach. And you can do that online, you can do that by going out and networking if it's a local scenario, but the more specialized you are, the more chance you have of building that business of your dreams. And that is how the world has changed. It's phenomenal. And also, you don't need a huge amount. If you're not running a product business, the resources that you need are absolutely minimal. You need a certain level of understanding of social media. You need to be able to put together a program to present your product, or a program for your product itself. And then you need to understand the steps that it will take to create what's called a funnel, and to actually get out there and get in front of the people that you need to be in front of. Okay. So the next, 1 minute, why is this not working up? So the next question, when we're thinking about what we should be doing, is what do people need and want? So we tend, when we're thinking, when we have a passion or we're thinking of a business, we do tend to come up with an idea and then decide whether we can sell it. And really what we need to do is to be completely open to what's missing. I mean, they talk about a gap in the market, and I think that the response to that is often, well, if there's a gap in the market, you know, is there a market in the gap? So it doesn't necessarily follow that because something doesn't exist, it's going to make a great business idea. But let's take a broad look at what people value today. Now, people value solutions to problems, and that can be absolutely any problem. You could have come up with a method for folding a duvet. I mean, it doesn't, you know, I'm being a bit facetious there, but that's almost enough, almost hints and tips, practical hints and tips around the home. There you go. That's a program for you. But solutions to problems that they have. So this could be a gadget. It could be an online problem. It could be, I mean, apps are created all the time for people that have problems. It could be a personal problem. They could need to know how to deal with a difficult teenager. They could need to, and you might have had a difficult teenager or know several. People want answers to problems. So write that down. People want to save time. So people want other people, they want to employ people to do things for them that they haven't got the time to do. And I'll give you a little example of that, because one of the first enterprises I started, and I've actually run 6 major enterprises in my life, but one of the first ones, I had my 3 children, and I didn't have much time for work. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I took a part-time secretarial job for a theatrical business manager. And I realized very early on that her clients, who were quite often sort of film stars or B-level stars, didn't have time to, they were traveling around a lot. They didn't often travel with an entourage, so they needed someone to do their secretarial work for them. And maybe they needed somebody who would be at their house to let the washing machine man in, or, you know, and I didn't realize then, but what I'd actually dreamed up was a concierge business. So what I did was I wrote to 12 of her clients, and I wrote a very funny letter just saying that I would walk their dog, do their secretarial, whatever. And I was offering an hourly service, that I would go to their home and I would take care of any of the things that they didn't have time to do. And in response to that letter, and it was to 12, I mean, I'm a lot older than you, so you may not know these names, but these were top key film stars that I wrote to. So it was Tony Curtis and Lee Remick and Christopher Lee, the horror guy, and there were a lot of television guys out there as well, Leslie Crowther, all sorts of people. And I wrote 12, Edward Fox, I wrote 12 letters, and I got 10 clients from that. And before you knew it, I had a secretarial business. And then one of my clients asked me to go, they were moving to Hollywood, and they invited me to go with them to Hollywood. And I went out there as a PA, and I used to socialize with them, run around for tea at Natalie Wood's house and Robert Wagner, and a lot of you are much too young for these names, but they were very big names at their time. And so I had all that experience. And at that time, the only thing I was really looking for was experience. So money was not my key motivator at that point. But I could have turned that into quite serious money. I didn't actually choose to, but I spent a year in Los Angeles partying with the stars because I'd written a letter to 12 people. So that's how possible all this stuff is, okay? So people want experiences. People want, if you can paint in a certain way and you can invite people to share that journey, if you can paint textiles, for example, there are lots of people absolutely crushing it on YouTube, making lots of money, simply demonstrating their skills and things that they can do. My computer keeps going to sleep, hold on. Oops, there we go. Okay, so people want community. And I have a client that posted on my group yesterday. I have a lot of clients that I've led into this world, because building an online community takes time, and it takes a lot of commitment and quite a bit of understanding of how the internet works. But you can create a community around any topic or any skill that you have. It can be, there are people making a fortune because they fish in a certain way. There are people who are wine tasters who have started making a program educating people about wine. You can do this. And with those businesses, a lot of the revenue comes from building your numbers, building your following, and becoming a platform that people want to advertise on. Okay, so people want empathy, coaching. You can coach on virtually anything that you have real personal experience of. You need to learn how to do it. It isn't particularly difficult. You have to absolutely be yourself and be authentic. But coaching is a really good option if you want a freedom-based business. People want good health. And I know that some of you are health coaches, some of you are skincare formulators who got into this because their major concern is to get toxins out of the world. There are lots of things you can do with health and with alternative medicine and with alternative practices that can create your business. So, to me, the scenario is that there are too many things, too many choices. And what I really want to do in this program is to absolutely get to grips with who you are and get you on the right road so that you have total clarity around what you should be doing and how to do it, and how to turn what you should be doing into proper income for you. And this really is a passion of mine, and it's something that I do with my 16-week clients. And I really want the opportunity to help you with this, because I know firsthand that you can do this. You really can do this. Okay, let me get back to my slides. Hold on. People want self-esteem. People want to feel important. People want to feel special. This again is something that can help with in coaching. And people also want social currency. So they would often, if you are offering something that is entertaining in some way, they will follow you and tune in because you give them something to share with their friends. If you give them information to share with their friends, that is social currency. All right. So have we got any questions? Joe?
Yeah, we just had one come through from Hayley J.
Yeah.
She's asked, will the program be able to help me distinguish how to pitch my business to the right audience? For instance, it could be disastrous if I pitch to the art craft market rather than the fine art market.
Absolutely. I mean, that is really what this is about. And I do know a little bit about Hayley's work. And Hayley is an absolute top level sculptress. And Hayley, can I share your story a little bit here? I hope you don't mind. I'm going to anyway. Thank you. Hayley's sculptures, which are very beautiful, and Hayley, put your website address in the chat box so people can go and have a look if they want to. But she makes the most amazing sculptures, and she sells them through the Saatchi Gallery. But that you would imagine means that she has a large income, and she doesn't have a large income. And the reason she doesn't have a large income is because she doesn't understand the value of her work. She doesn't understand how to position her work, and therefore she's not reaching the right people. So she's selling to a local, much less moneyed market than she should be. And that's also to do with how she's presenting herself to the world on her website and in her story, and how she's actually putting herself out there. So I'm going to work with Hayley. I think she's going to join the program. I hope she's going to join the program. But this is what I want to do with people. I want to really look at who you are and who you should be serving. And who you should be serving is a really, really important element. You need to decide who you're comfortable with, who you can talk to, and who your product, given the product that you want to present, what market you should really, really be aiming at. And that will, that decision will determine how you message to those people, how you present to those people, and a lot of other things. So the key is really having the right product, presenting it to the right people in the right way. And that's what I'm going to help you with on this program. I hope that answers your question, Hayley. Now, a lot of you I know have a load of insecurities around this, a great deal of fear around being good enough, risk aversion, you know, will you spend money that you don't have? And you know, also there's gremlins that we've all experienced in the shape of self-doubt, and also doubts from some of the people around us who are telling us we should get a proper job. And to those people, I would say, actually, this is a proper job, and you have one life, and if you are playing to your skills and your successes and your strengths, and if you have the tools to understand how to get your concept earning you money, that is a proper job. And that is how you should be spending your time and life. If you're in a job that is boring you to death, I mean, what is this? You know, this is the time of opportunity. Why are you doing that? You could lose your job anytime. You're going to be subject to a boss's whims or a company's whims, or the economics of a company that you have absolutely no control of. If you do something for yourself, you have total control over what you're doing. And I am not suggesting in any shape or form that this is a get-rich-quick scheme, because it isn't. And one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about doing this is because I know firsthand through the clients that I work with and through my own journey, the foundation work that you need to do on yourself, and looking at what you should be doing and how you should be doing it before you start, because that will get you where you want to be. If you do that work, that will get you where you want to be 10 times quicker than if you just come up with an idea and follow your nose. You know, it took me an awful lot of time to get to my third business. I started a knitting business. I wrote 30 books, which were internationally published. So there's about 7 million copies of my books out there. But I wasn't making any money because I wasn't grasping the business side of what I should have been doing. I wasn't monetizing it properly. I wasn't following that path. And these are really, if you're going to do this, first of all, I want you to be doing what you love doing. But second of all, I want you to be doing it in a way that is going to earn you money. Because without the money, it's a hobby. Okay? And we should be spending our lives in our work doing what we really love to do. And that's what I've always done. Okay? All right, so there are any other questions there so far?
We haven't got any other questions just yet.
Okay, hang on, let me see if I have anything else on this list. Okay, so I've got, I think there are 3 golden keys to success. And the first one is your ability to take action. And with the people that I've worked with, I know that an awful lot of people spend time researching. And I've got to admit that I'm guilty of this as well. I sometimes buy a book and don't read it and think that the act of having bought it means that I've got all the knowledge within it. So how many of you have done that before? You bought a book on a particular skill and then actually never read it, but thought that somehow or other that skill should have magically got into your blood. So researching is great. There's an awful lot of information out there, but applying that information is the important thing. And being accountable to yourself and to your journey, which is another reason that, you know, I found that my 16-week mentoring program works really well, because people have a session with me every week and they have homework to do. And if they haven't done it, they have the wrath of me to deal with. And I'm a pretty tough cookie. So it is about keeping accountable to what you want to do. Now, if you're in a full-time job, you can do this by what's called micro-blocking. And it means, let's say you're in a job and you've got a dream and you want to follow that dream, but you know that you can't afford to leave your job for the time being. So if every day you spend 20 minutes doing something to move your dream business forward, but you do it every single day. If you've got longer, take longer. But always, because you've done an hour on a Monday, it doesn't mean you don't have to do Tuesday. So it's about consistency and moving along step by step and taking this steps towards your business a bite at a time. And that's really why a group around you of people that you can network with who are on the same journey, who are all moving forwards and not procrastinating. And also to have the help of a mentor, whether it's me or whoever it is hugely helpful. And it's often the difference between having a dream and really getting something done and out there. Where am I? So that's my first key to success is to take action. 1 minute, my computer keeps going off. My second key to success is verifying your proposition. And that means that before you go out and order 3,000 products, before, if you're in the product game, and before you spend months writing a book or whatever, you need to find out if people want it and if people will give you money for it. And you can do that really, really simply right at the beginning of your journey. And there's a wonderful story about the guys at Innocent Drinks, Innocent Smoothies, and they actually went to Camden Lock, which is a craft market, and they had their fruit juice, and they had 2 buckets, and it says, should we give up our day job and sell it? If the answer is yes, drop your cup in one bucket, your empty cup in one bucket. If your answer is no, drop your empty cup in another bucket. And through doing that, the yes you should was full up and they'd verified their product. So there's lots of simple ways of doing that, but going out there and investing huge sums of money before you have tested your product on the market is not a good idea. Okay, so verifying your product is really a key step towards success. And the third key to success, and it's probably the one that served me best, is understanding how to leverage opportunities. Okay, so to give you an example, I can give you an example again in my own career. I had a knitwear shop at one time, and someone came in saying he wanted a Disney sweater. And I said to him, well, I can't make you a Disney sweater because anything with Disney on has to have a license. And he said, oh, that's all right, I publish for Disney. Now, I put pieces together. So you need to do this. When you meet people and you have a conversation, you need to have your mind completely open. And the 2 questions in your mind should be, what have I got that I can help this person with on their journey? And what have they got that they could possibly help me with on their journey? And I computed this guy in front of me and the fact that I could make knitting patterns, and he had a publishing company and a contract with Disney. And I said to him, okay, if you've got a license to publish Disney books, why don't we write the Disney Book of Knitting between us? And 2 days later, I was down in Devon signing a contract for my first book. And bear in mind at that time that I hadn't worked out how I was going to do it and what I was going to put in it. And what I then did, so, sell the proposition, find the opportunity, how you're going to actually deliver on that opportunity comes next. So what I actually did then was to look at the people around me. I had a knitwear company that could actually write proper patterns for me. And I got one of those involved, and I decided that we would co-write this book. So I would do the images, she would do the actual pattern writing. Now that book, I believe, has sold 3 million copies, and it put me on the map in the knitting world. And that was just about opportunizing. So build relationships, but always look around you at how to leverage opportunities from whatever situation you find yourself in. So someone might have a problem, they might have a dog sitting problem, I don't know. And if you can do that, that could be the key to you starting an agency for dog sitters. So do the job, get the idea, and then think through how you can scale it. Okay? Because you can't make money as a dog sitter, but you can make money employing 1,000 dog sitters. All right? So these are all the sort of things. So this program is going to be really, really, really creative in terms of making you think in a different way. Have we got any questions? Am I missing anything? I'm not following the chat. Jo?
No questions at the moment.
Okay, so if you're going through these terrible pains of how do I do this? Make a list of all the things that you've achieved so far. I asked you to do this in the group, and very few of you did it. And the point is that if you want to make this happen to you, you have to do the work. Whether you're on my program or you're not on my program, nothing is going to change for you unless you do the work. And what I will do is make sure you do the work. Okay, so whatever you want to do, you need to feel passionate about. And that is a passion not just for what you want to do, but also for how it's going to change your life. And the best way to take that on board is to visualize where you want to be and to imagine what you're going to feel when you get there. So what will you say to the people around you when you've taken what they kept telling you was a daft idea and you've turned it into a great business? How do you think that's going to feel when you can turn around and say, look, I did it, I'm going to take you out for dinner because I can afford to, whatever. I mean, there is nothing better than that. So you've got to decide where your motivation to do this is going to come from. So it could come from, I've absolutely got to do this because I've got no money coming in and I've got kids to feed. It could come from that. It could come from, I want to do this because I'm in a job and I'm fed up being a slave to a job, and I know I can do a part of this better than better than my boss does. You want to be your boss. It could come from there. It could come from, I'm in a job because I have to earn money. I'm not enjoying it. I feel that my life is passing me by. I've just got to get the courage to get out there and do something on my own, but it's got to be the right thing. It could come from a wish to escape. It could come from wanting to spend more time with your kids and your family, or wanting to spend more time doing what you want to do. So one of the things we will do in the program in the very early stages is to decide what you really want about this. And what we're doing there is we're taking back control for our lives. So we're determining what we want, we're determining what we will enjoy doing that will get us there, and then we're determining the steps that we have to take to put those pieces together. And I've done that. I've reinvented myself many times, and I've got to the top of my industry on 3 occasions doing just that. I mean, at one time I started a website company. That doesn't mean I can run websites. It meant that I met someone that could run websites. And we ended up creating a website for Buckingham Palace. So it's about courage, which you can learn. You really can, because you have nothing to lose when you approach people, and you need to understand that. It's about identifying your skills and the skills in others, and it's about the doing of it and stopping procrastinating. Okay, so any other questions? So I'm going to look at the chat box for a minute, and then I'm going to introduce you to the program. Who have we got here? Amanda. Amanda is telling me that she's been working on a health promotion tool. It's through to the second round of a competition with RCN. I don't know who RCN is. I wondered what I could next with it, what I could do next with it. Well, Amanda, okay, don't do that. Don't send me the PowerPoint. That is exactly the sort of thing we would discuss on the program. So I would take your, if some of you are already a little way along in your journey, I will take that information and that product once we've decided you're on the right road, and I will tell you what to do with it next. Okay. Now, for the skincare guys out there, and I know that there are a few of you on this list, I have to tell you, this is not a potted version of my 16-week skincare program, because there is an enormous amount that you need to know before you start a skincare business. So you really do need my 16-week program for that. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I am going to send you to the link to the program. So if you go to, and Joe, can you put this up? There you go. Joe's just put a link up in the box. Now, the program link will tell you exactly what I'm going to cover in the program. And because it's my first group program outside of skincare, I want to keep it very tight. So if I get a big response to this, what I'm going to do is break you up into groups and run groups of no more than 10 or 15 people. I haven't decided yet. So I will, that will explain to you exactly what it is. But I also want to say, while you're considering this, that the program is not for everyone. And that's important for me, to get the right people onto this, because as I know that the people that have followed me know, my only other program that I offer people is a 16-week program which costs £4,500. And when I put this program together, and because it's my passion program, I had I gave a lot of thought to the price point that I should offer it at. The reason that I decided to offer it to the wide world, out there in the wide world, at £900. And it's a 12-week program. And what it will include is 6 one-hour webinars with me over the 12 weeks, one every 2 weeks. It will include homework assignments, workbooks for you to complete. It will include a half-hour mentoring session with me. It will include hang on, there we go. It will include book lists, lists of service providers, all sorts of resources that you can tap into. You will have recordings of all the webinars, which you can keep forever. So you can keep playing these back and listening to them. And also, I mean, that's the key to it. But there will be, I want to work very closely with you. I want this, even though it's a group program, I want this to be a high touch program. So as I said, I absolutely, I've agonized over the price. I'm putting it out there at 900, but I want people on this group that are committed and that are going to be a total success, because otherwise I'm wasting my time and you're wasting your time. And because of that, the people that have followed me in the Facebook group so far and the people that are on this webinar can buy this course, this program, for £500 until 10 p.m. on the 30th. All right, now that is the cost of a 1.5 hour session with me, mentoring session. So, but the reason I'm setting it at that is also because I want it to cost you enough for you to feel truly committed to do it. And this really does work, because tell me if you're one of them, but an awful lot of people collect low-cost courses and actually don't take any action on them and don't sometimes even go through them. So I want you to be as committed to your success as I am to my success. So the bonus offer is that you're getting this for £500. It's a £400 discount. There is no installment plan on that, but you can pay by PayPal, which means that you will be able to pay on your credit card. And I'm going to add another bonus as well. So if the first 5 people that sign up to this program will get an extra free 1 hour one-to-one with me, so that we can really, really hone down on what your situation is and what you should be doing. So if you're interested in the program, what you have to do is go to the link that Joe has set you, and that was www.melindacost.com/on-your-own-terms, and sign up to the program. And that discount of £400 will only hold until 10 p.m. on the 30th. I'm going to keep the actual program will start on the 22nd of February, because I'm traveling and I want to put a lot more work into the modules that I'm giving you, because they're going to be really in depth and ask you lots and lots of questions and make you really look at yourselves and your experiences. So I'm going to open it on the 22nd. So I will keep the current group open until then. But at that point, I'm going to close the group, and I'm going to transfer those who have actually registered, who's actually going to be on the program, to a separate group, so that you will have immediately a really strong networking force around you to share ideas with. And I will be on that group on a daily basis. So not only will you be able to ask me questions on the webinars, and there will be a big question and answer session on the webinar, but you will also be able to chat with me in the Facebook group. So let me look at your comments. Hey, I've got to, Jane tells me she's signed up. So Jane, I'm so pleased you've signed up. How exciting. Do tell me what you think of this on the chat group, whether you think you're going to join us. And so we now have 4 places that will get free 1 hour one-to-ones with me. Who else have we got? Haley? Great. Okay, that's lovely. So that's 2. We've got 2 here. So, wow. So we now have 3 places left. So I think by this, what this is saying is that there's 5 places going to go quite quickly. So if you on the recording, I hope that they're still going to be available for you. There's going to be some available for you. That's great. So who else have we got here that's come up with an idea? Has anybody here got an idea that they are thinking about launching but haven't actually taken the first steps? Anyone? This recording for this webinar is going to be open just for 7 days. Okay. Well, there's lots of people on there, but you're not telling me of your ideas. Now, the other big issue that people have is getting visible and understanding that either you or your business needs to be visible at a very early stage, because the other thing that people really like is stories. So if you have a story around how you came up with your idea, or where your product comes from, or what your experience was that led you to create the service that you're going to offer, that story is hugely powerful, and you need to learn how to get it out there. However, I am more than aware that a lot of people do not like to put themselves out there and to be seen. So you may well be great at writing copy. You need to promote your business in the way that's most natural to you. So if you're good at doing videos, or you're good at doing Facebook Lives, that is by far the most powerful way to get the results that you want. But it might be that you're more comfortable writing, and in which case you would use a blog. Or it might be that you simply want to put out a brand. And it's perfectly possible to create your brand in a way that your brand becomes a personality all on its own, without you even having to mention your name. So if we're creating a brand, we start thinking of that brand as being the person that is communicating to your audience. Okay? Anybody got any questions on that?
Melinda, there's Angie from the group. She'd like to know how the program is different from your 16-week program.
Well, first of all, it isn't. You can do that. You're very welcome to do this as a 16-week program, and you would get a very intense relationship going with me. This is different in that I'm working with a group, not individually. There are 6 sessions plus a half-hour one-to-one session with me, whereas in the one-to-one program there are 16 one-hour sessions. That's the key difference. And the 16-week program, as I say, is one-to-one, so it's very much tailored to you as an individual. When it's a group program, as much as possible, I'm going to tailor it to you as individuals, which is why I want to keep the group very small, but it isn't one-to-one. You're not having 1 hour a week concentrated time with me. It also isn't aimed specifically at skincare guys, which my current 16-week program is. Does that answer the question?
Jessica's also asked, the 6 webinars, will they be on during the evening?
We haven't decided yet, because it depends what part of the world people are in, but there will be recordings of them. What I would probably do, if we get people in very different locations, because I'm constantly up against, most of my clients are international, I'm constantly up against the time clock. We will switch it around so that you will have some live ones and some others. If it's a very small group and I'm only doing one group, I might run it twice, once in the morning, once in the evening, but I can't promise that. Any other questions on it? Oh, thank you, Carmen. Carmen, there's several people on here. I did a masterclass group just for skincare a while back, and I see several people on here, and Carmen is saying that she went through the program and she does recommend it. Thank you, Carmen. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Jessica, if Jessica, I'd be interested to know what sort of idea you have, because you're saying here that you've had an idea and you've taken a few steps and got a website up. I'd be interested to know, is that for a service, or is that for a product? So I'd be interested to know that. Steph is saying she's thinking about an online course being more productive and time-saving tips, and perhaps a coaching program on the same lines. So I don't understand what that means. So Engela is saying that her brand idea is up, but she's had a bad experience with someone she trusted. So from 10 steps forward, now 10 steps back. Well, Engela, you've got to stop looking at those steps back. It's been and it's done, and you will have learnt from it. Often the obstacles that are thrown in our way are there to teach us lessons. I really firmly believe that. And sometimes when we're absolutely at rock bottom, or something horrible has happened and we feel completely floored by it, that is when we get our best learning experience. And that is what gives us the strength to get it right the next time. So don't worry about that, Engela. Treat it as a gift. Okay, so I have, met Jessica, a Miss Superfood brand. That's interesting. I like that. And Steph, you're saying you could see the value in a course about productivity and saving time. I am going to be covering saving time and productivity, because I think it's a huge issue. And there are ways that you can structure your time, and you should structure your time, because you really need to work within your own flow. That is what this is about, and that is what I think business should be about. It needs to be a stretch. It needs to stretch you. It needs to build your confidence. It needs to empower you. It needs to take you forwards. It needs to take you to the money, but it shouldn't do that in a way that completely overwhelms and stresses you out. So it needs to be structured to deal with the time that you have available in your life. Okay. All right. Well, if that's all, if there's no other questions, I am going to sign off, and the recording, a link to a recording will be sent out. It's tomorrow, isn't it, Jo? Or later today, we're going to send the link out.
Yeah, hopefully once it's all uploaded and everything, we can send it out. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you all for joining me. And I do hope that you join the program. I really look forward to working with some of you. And I hope that you found this useful. See you soon. Bye.